We are joined now by the St. Joe's folks, head coach Cindy Griffin, Lara Ziegler, who scored the winning basket, and Mackenzie Smith. Again, we'll do what we've been doing the whole time. The coach will make an opening statement. We'll go to questions for the players and then release them and then go back to the coach.
All right. Well, everybody got a good game, a good show, right? Now, I just want to say Richmond is a really, really, really great team. We had some great battles with them early in the season, and today we went back and forth, and they are a really good team, and they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament hands down with a very high seed. With that being said, very proud of our players today. Every time that they went on a run, we answered. And that went down to the last buzzer. And the resilience, the relentlessness, the belief, and the ability. And we have a very good team. They played really well together, and they believed. And I think that's the key to our win today.
We have a question for the players here on the end. Go ahead.
Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. Laura, Mackenzie, congratulations.
Thank you.
Laura, about 5 minutes ago, you were still shaking. How you feeling so far? And then just walk us through that final possession. What was your thought process in that final possession?
Well, they just scored on us, they just scored on me. So I wasn't feeling great. I think our go-to this whole tournament so far has been always next possession. Like, what just happened, we can't do anything about it. It's always the next play. So we do our play, and it's me and Mackenzie in action, and coach said if you get the ball, go make a play. So I caught that ball, and I was like, I just got to go in. I got to go try to get fouled. I have to go do something. Obviously we knew that the refs had to go look at it, and that was a little bit emotional. We stood there screaming for a little bit, but that was so many emotions. I don't think my adrenaline has ever been that high, if I got to be honest. But just really happy right now.
John O'Connor, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Mackenzie, what's the difference in this third meeting that got you the first two?
Well, for starters, I think it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. Again, we prepared for this game like we prepared for the other ones. We fell short by 8 points with both games, and we just knew that a couple more possessions and we could be tied with them. So we just came out knowing that this is possible, and we, like Lara said, believed the entire time, and it paid off. It paid off.
John, right here, this way. Go ahead.
Natalie covering with the Next. For either of you, obviously you're just holding hands, coming in emotional. It looks like Laura got a little bit of a water bath from the teammates. Can you guys just talk about your team togetherness and what's gotten you this far and into your first championship game since 2018?
Yeah, I think it's just that, like you said it best, we do it for each other and we do it together. And that's really why we're here. I know it's Mackenzie's last year playing with her, and that's always a little bit emotional. I can go down the line with all our seniors and our graduate students. But it's really for each other. I always say, the last thing coach says when we leave the locker room before the game is play hard, play smart, and play together. And today she said we had to play harder than we ever did, play smarter than we ever did, and play more together. And it really just comes down to we want to do it for each other. We want to give our seniors the best goodbye they could possibly have. We really just want it for each other.
Questions for the players? Please raise your hand if you need the mic. Right behind.
After Maggie and their race had shot with 3 seconds left, coach calls a timeout. What's the messaging to kind of calm the emotions down and be able to regroup so that you guys can come back and more make that shot?
You got it. I think it's as we said. It's the next one. We kind of make this tournament. We made our word, Croatian word. We went to Croatia together this summer. That means both hi and goodbye, and we described it best, right before we went into the games, that every time something happens, it's goodbye to that moment, hi to the next one. And that was what happened there. We couldn't do anything about it. It felt really bad right when it happened. We were all a little bit regretting what we did, but it's always the next play and it's always the next one. And there's no better moment to have a great moment than the next one.
I love when she says that. She says it a lot.
I say that a lot.
She says it a lot, and I love when she says that.
That's how I always felt. I didn't make a lot of shots in the second half. I didn't do a lot of things. But there's no better shot to make than the next one.
I would say, just to add to that, we, after Maggie Dugan made that shot, we all came together and we were like, we didn't come this far just to come this far. We 4 seconds is a lot of time. As you can see, Laura was able to do a little spin and little shebang and make that layup, but 4 seconds was a lot of time. And, you know, I never felt, I wasn't stressed. I knew that, you know, if Gabby ended up hitting me, that we were going to make something happen, or if she hit you, I knew that ball was going to go in. Mm-hmm. This girl shows up in moments when is very necessary, and she always delivers.
We looked at each other and we said 4 seconds is a long time to get in there and get fouled.
Other questions for the players? Yes, in the front here.
Laura, who were you hugging and talking to as you walked off the court after your post-game interview?
Everyone, I think. I'm trying to think. I think I hugged all the parents. I hugged all the coaches.
Jill B?
Jill was,
Jill B?
might have been Jill Bodensteiner right behind your AD that I absolutely love. But I think just, you know, I don't have my family here. I came in here right before I called my family. I know they're sitting at the phone right now waiting for me to call them again. But if there's one thing that really can sum up my 3 years so far, it's just the family. You know, all the parents taking care of me. I can probably name pretty much all the parents on my team right now who either brought me food. When I scored my Dolphin points, they were making posters. Everyone has made such a big deal about making this a family, especially with the international students we have, like Mackenzie's in the same situation. So yeah, I am not sure who you're talking about, but I think I pretty much hugged everyone that was there.
And what do you think your parents are thinking about as you make that shot and then now waiting for your phone call?
Well, I know Mackenzie said she wasn't stressed. Knowing my parents, they were definitely very, very stressed. I called them and they right away was just screaming. My phone was blowing up right after. But they were definitely stressed, but I think they're just so happy. You know, they're parents. They just want to see their kid succeed and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Final question for the players, if there is one. Not, ladies, you are released for the locker room.
Thank
So
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great job.
Now we'll take questions for the players.
Coaches.
Coaches. Yeah, you. Yeah.
Coach Live, congratulations on the win, Coach. What are your thoughts on your team shooting 91% for the free throws, and just how important was that, especially in a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, I think if you look at the 2 games that we played against Richmond, we only got to the free throw line 4 times in the first game, and we lost by 8. And then the next game we got there 18, but we only made 13. So if you combine those 2 numbers, it's 8, and so it might be a 7, but that's where we knew that there was going to be a little bit of difference, and points were going to be hard to come by. Great defensive team, great offensive team, and we just knew that we had to stay the course and do all the little things necessary. And getting to the free throw line this time of year is really important because you got to put points up. Whether you're not making threes or you're not getting the shots that you generally get, you're going to have to make plays, and our kids made plays today.
Questions? Yes, in the front.
Seeing your team's togetherness, what does it mean to you as a coach for them to be able to come together in those moments, and even after the game as well? Obviously, it means a lot to be together as a team, but supporting Laura through everything, and then Mackenzie and her were holding hands up here.
Yeah, these guys are thick as thieves. I think you look at the senior class that has a lot of experience under their belt, and then you add Lara Ziegler, you add our sophomore class in there as well with Gabby and Aaliyah, and you add those players together. I think the important thing is we retained all of our players, and I think that sends a message of anything's possible, when you have your core group coming back and you're able to build together. And, we hope that continues, right? But, I think that was the most important thing with this group staying together and being together and having the championship mindset all throughout.
In the back, go ahead.
Amanda, A10, what's it like as a coach to see your players talk about each other like that, uplift each other like that, and how have you seen it just translate through on the court this season?
Yeah, they spend a lot of time together. I think they enjoy each other. I think they're very mature young women who, obviously the international kids are very, very far away from home, so they've had to fend for themselves a lot of times. I'm glad that our parents are giving hugs out because I think that's what's needed. But I think they're just they really enjoy playing with each other, and you can't force that. It has to evolve. But our culture has been so strong that we rely on that. When things go a little awry, boom, we got to get back to our core values of being selfless and relentless.
Other questions for Coach Griffin? Yes, at the front again. Go ahead.
Maybe besides trying to get your heart rate down a little bit, what are your plans for the next 26 and a half hours as you get ready to play in your first championship game since 2018?
Well, we're going to watch this game, and then we're going to prep accordingly. We lose an hour of sleep, which is fine. But just regroup, look at the scout, see what we need to do, get rest and recovery, and maybe get some sleep, maybe not. We'll see.
Was that the final question? One more? Sorry.
Was that your son you were hugging as you came off the court?
Yes.
What does it mean to you to be able to not only have your daughter on your team, but the rest of your family in your stands and always be surrounded by family during this journey?
Yeah, Lara said it best. We are a family at St. Joe's. It's family first. And, I've been very fortunate to be able to have my family involved with my work. And just having them here and their support has been amazing. They live and die with everything that we do, and it's, my son gets very nervous. He doesn't even come to all the games because he gets that nervous. But I was glad he's here this weekend.
Good luck to her.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Cindy, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
All right, appreciate it.
Again, for those of you who will be following us tomorrow here, don't forget to set your clocks. Budden, excuse me, Katie Hill, and of course, Aaron Rousell will be joining us here in a second. Okay. And we are joined now by Coach Aaron Rousell. Again, we'll go for an opening statement for the coach, and then take your questions for the players, please.
The highs and lows of March, right? A really tough, hard-fought game by both teams. Probably one of those, I don't know what the biggest lead was for anybody, but it felt like it was really back and forth. Some ways the game felt like it went forever, and other ways it felt like it sped by. But really proud of our players. To lose a game in that fashion, to lose a game that meant so much to these guys, and it worked so hard for months and months and months and really years to have to talk to them in the locker room obviously was incredibly difficult. I hate to say deserve to win. That's not where I'm going with it. I think both teams, it just sucks that either team had to lose. But a kudos and a big credit to St. Joe's. They've had a great season. and great careers for those seniors, and for them to have a chance to go dance. Obviously, credit to them. But I just go back to our players, and one, very grateful. Me personally, very grateful to them to what they've done this season. You got two sitting over here that have been with me for 4 or 5 plus years. Having to not have that one last chance with them tomorrow kills me, crushes me, and will for a long time. But it doesn't take away from the pride that I have in our team. And you're looking at 2 exceptional leaders and all-timers here.
Questions for Addie or for Katie, please. John, go ahead.
John O'Connor, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Addie, how does a defensive player balance guarding tightly and not fouling on that last possession by St. Joe's?
I mean, they just made a play. They set a screen, and I don't even remember. I think Maggie fell, and I wasn't on the backside. So obviously you don't want to foul, give them a chance at the free throw line, but at the same time, you still got to be there, and she just made a tough shot. She's a great player, so kudos to her.
If I could please follow up. Just
Go ahead.
The familiarity was obvious among both teams. How does that make things difficult to score?
I mean, I think we've played each other now 3 times in the past 25 days. So I think the familiarity was good in the sense where I think we were joking about the fact that we didn't have to really study the scout. We all kind of knew it, but at the same time, we know what each of us is going to do. It was going to be a hard-fought game, and it went down to the wire. So these are the kind of games you want to play in, and it was really fun out there, but at the same time, we ended up losing. So they're a great team, and I know they're going to do great things.
Yes, sir.
Here for the Collegian. You guys are both veterans on this team. Just what's the message to the locker room, knowing you probably likely have games to be played, but just as 2 people who've been through this before?
I just think don't let it take away from everything else that we've accomplished and done this season. And it was a tough game today. Obviously, we wanted to get another Atlantic 10 championship, but that didn't happen. But we have another opportunity to win some games in the postseason, and we just need to keep in mind everything else that we've done well and accomplished this season.
Question? Gentlemen, on the end, did you have a question? No, you didn't. Okay.
Zach Walton, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Addie and Katie, there were a lot of young girls in the crowd wearing Richmond colors cheering for you guys. What do you hope that they take away from the experience of coming out here and seeing you compete?
I mean, just seeing the crowds of people come in, especially at the Robbins Center. I know over your 4 years and my 5 years have just grown immensely. And then after games, seeing all the little girls come up to us asking for autographs, all of that, seeing them wearing Dugan jerseys. I mean, it's really cool to see them looking up to us. And a lot of our campers from the summer will come back, and we'll see them at our games. So just seeing the impact that we have on them, just making someone's day, making someone smile goes a long way. And we're so grateful to have that opportunity to connect with the community and hopefully make a lasting impact and bring them into the sport as well.
Question for the player in the front right here.
Natalie Cover from the Next. For either of you, what's been your favorite moment with the team so far, leading up to this moment?
Honestly, just the little things, whether that's in the locker room, before practice, people are joking off, or just getting meals together. We love to go out to eat. So just all of that, just spending time with one another. Obviously, eventually this all comes to an end. So basketball's going to end, but the relationships are forever. So just cherishing those and really embracing these last moments that we have, especially the 2 of us, just being a part of a team.
Woman on the aisle, over, please.
Ladies, I would like to know what has been the most impactful thing that Coach has said to you over your 4 or 5 years that you're going to take with you onto your next journey.
He's always preached just being, I think the quote is strong, confident young women. So especially in this world, just holding our own, I think over my past 4 years, I've really grown just as, it's fine. You got it.
Go ahead.
I think that's a great example, and he actually starts off practice every day with a quote. So in our team huddle pre-practice, it's a quote, and every day it has a different meaning, but I think they're all applicable, and it's just a great way to get different advice and just always motivational and supporting. So,
Final questions for the players before we release them. Ladies, thank you very much. We'll head back to their locker room, and now we'll take questions for Aaron, please. John?
Coach Rousell, I'll ask the obvious. How do you feel about the Spiders making the NCAA field after this defeat?
I probably should have been prepared with numbers, feelings, history. Probably hadn't been down that road, you know. I literally don't know what else we could have done. I mean, that was a tough, heartbreaking loss. Buzzer beater. That's the second buzzer beater out of, what do we have, 5 losses, 6 losses? And 3 of those other losses are to teams that are probably hosting in the NCAA tournament. We were told last year, go get as many top 50 games as you can get. I've got the receipts. I've got the records of all the phone calls that we made. We were able to get the 3 SEC teams. We played Columbia. You know, you have Mason. You have, I think we have 5 or 6 wins by teams that we thought were going to be in the top 50, either are in the top 50 right now or pretty darn close. If you go to 51, 52, there ain't been anybody that's been left out of the tournament with 5+ wins in the top 50. That's what we were told to do last March. Obviously, and you know, committee has their job to do, and things change. We went to quads, which we kind of had an idea was coming. Didn't realize the quads were going to look like what they did, but obviously the schedule set in October when they got out there. So everybody's got jobs to do. I'm not trying to say there was a moving of the goalposts, but I think when you're a mid-major, there's another men's team in town that's probably in the same, in our men's team, right? Like, it's just really hard to go get those games. We moved mountains. I'm going to say tried to pull fast ones, but, you know, we also thought we had 3 other games against teams that paid money to get out of contracts that we were trying to play. So you went 17-1 in a league that I think was pretty darn good this year. You know, there's 3 teams still playing right now that could make some noise. We played George Mason. I remember leaving that gym that night. Good God, George Mason can win some games in the tournament. St. Joe's can win some games in the tournament. You know, I think we're more than a viable candidate to be in there. I wish we could have played a few of those other teams that are on the bubble too, and settled that on the court. But I like our team. I think what we did in the offseason, what our administration supported us to do as a mid-major team, I literally don't know what else we could have done. So I hadn't thought about it, John, but I'd like to think that our chances are good. I know this is a group that expects to be there, and I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are lining up to play us. So hopefully that means something too.
We have a question in the back of the room. We go ahead, and then I'll come back to you.
Coach, what defensive challenges does this, I know you've played them 3 times now, what defensive challenges are unique to this St. Joe's roster this year for you guys?
For us defensively?
Yeah.
Well, you know, they were hard to guard 3 weeks ago when we had to play them, and then they didn't get any easier the second and third time that we played here in the last 3 weeks. So, one, I thought today they had a very balanced roster. You know, a very balanced output from their team. You kind of saw it a little bit yesterday. You know, I thought Gabby Casey played outstanding for them yesterday. You know, and remember thinking there at the end of the game, like, hey, she kind of grew up a little bit. She made some big plays, and she made some big plays and some big shots against us today. But that 3-headed monster, man, with Brugler, with Siegler, and with Mackenzie Smith, man, like, that's been a long 4+ years of guarding them. They're just really good. And when you start your roster with 3 of the top players in the league, that presents challenges, and it opens up some opportunities for the rest of them. So I thought we did a pretty good job. I mean, you got, you know, Mackenzie Smith, 13 points, you know, some powerful ones there, but I think she tripled that total when she was in our gym a couple years ago, you know. So she was tough today in some clutch moments. You know, Siegler obviously with the shot there at the end, but and then, you know, I think I've known the Brugler family for 10 years. So as painful as this is, you know, great opportunity for her to go get something that I got to share with her sister back at Bucknell with the tournament run. But then you do those sort of things, and then Aaliyah Sneed makes a rebound and keeps the ball alive on that last possession, or one of the last possessions there with 20, 30 seconds left. So they've got contributions from all over the place. Obviously, a really, really strong staff that's been together for a while. They make it really hard to scout and really hard to prepare for, but I thought we did a really, really good job with that. And we just, there's a couple plays here and there on both sides.
In the front row.
Obviously, you're not sure what's going to be in the future for you, but how do you approach the next 8 days or so as you wait to find out?
I don't know that I've been in this position before, so I don't know if I'm supposed to play lobbyist and do my homework and do my research and show all the reasons of the strengths of our team. So I'm sure that there'll be some of that. As much as we probably could use a couple days off, and we'll give them that. There's a part of me that wants to run right out there and give Addie a hug and hang out tomorrow. So I think it's probably a little bit TBD. I don't know if this is good or bad as a coach, but I don't know that I've taken myself down that exercise of what to do if we would have lost today. I don't know that I had that contingency plan set up. So we'll have to talk as a staff, kind of get together. It's our spring break coming up. So I imagine we'll probably get together and practice, 3 days in the middle of the week, give them a little bit of an extended stay, and then come back and practice on Selection Sunday on the 16th, and hopefully get to celebrate a chance to make a run with this group.
Second row, go ahead, sir.
Aaron, may I pose the same question to you that I did to Addie and Katie? What do you hope the young girls in the crowd supporting Richmond and just attending this tournament in general take away from watching you guys compete?
I think you do this and you get into it to make an impact on the young women and players that you get to coach. That's what I take away from it. So I think when you look at it, and starting to learn this as a parent too, right? Like when you have to be hard on somebody and you have to try to get somebody past what they think their restrictions are, past what they think their comfort zone is, and you're trying to get them to be excellent. That's really hard to do. So I think that's why, but then you get that relationship on the end. So I think that's why I do it. But right behind that is seeing the power and the impact that this program has had on campus, in our athletic department, in the region. I mean, again, camp numbers are camp numbers, but how many campers Addie alluded to were in the stands? How many campers still come? I mean, let them come to our games. They come to our practices. I see them sneaking in, and, we're general admission seating. I see them sneaking in during our shoot-arounds and reserving seats, So I think just the impact there, and that wasn't happening 6 years ago. That wasn't happening, before Addie Budnick and crew showed up. So I think it's a combination, Zach. I think it's a special group that we have, making that impact with everybody in the community. But when you see what it's done for, and hopefully even a little bit our conference, kind of raising, games are a big deal at the Robins Center, and crowds are a fun atmosphere. So hopefully that in whatever we brought and helped bring to the table with the atmosphere here this weekend and last year, I'd like to think we have some impact in that.
Any final questions? If not, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Lucky you.
Appreciate you.
What comes
Thank you.
next?
Thank you.